Before any of this, like long time ago, I was a first-time Doberman owner, and yeah, I'd heard the rumors about these dogs, but I didn't know what to expect, and I kind of jumped in headlong anyway, and I got my first Doberman puppy. Well, then I was just absolutely blindsided by this breed, and the reality of what I just did finally set in. Today, I'm sharing very personal moments from a time when I got my first Doberman puppy, and the resulting kind of unexpected moments that really made my jaw just hit the floor. And for me, this breed was just so astonishing that it actually changed my career path and made me realize that Dobermans might not just be another dog breed, but they might be a totally different animal entirely. Off-leash control, instinct, not training. Now, one of the earliest, just really, truly surprising events that just gave me chills down my spine, I remember it very clearly. With my first Doberman, I was on a hike at the bottom of a lake during a drought. The scenery was beautiful. The water level was low, but it was just beautiful out, and we're in the middle of nowhere, and it was really a safe place, and there's no one around, so I decided to unclip my Doberman's leash on this hike and just set him free on his own. Kind of expected complete chaos, to be honest. But instead of running off, that dog froze. He just looked back at me and just waited. I mean, he was young, he was off leash, and he had this entire lake bed for miles in all direction to run in, but he was laser focused on me. And it was from that moment, honestly, that I knew this wasn't obedience at all. I mean, this was nothing I taught him. This was just pure instinct. And throughout that day, yes, he absolutely went exploring a bit. He chased sticks that I threw for him. He even went swimming in that lake, but he was constantly just looking back over his shoulders and checking on me over and over again, almost like a little, I don't know, I remember thinking it was like an OCD type of tick. And I could use these little OCD ticks, these little check-ins that he would do, to actually control him. I'd ask him to come back to me, to drop something, or just anything else. And this off-leash behavior was nothing at all I had taught him at that point. The thing is, it was completely instinctual and just natural to him. I couldn't believe that a dog could just naturally be like that. And once I realized that he was just kind of naturally like this, I just kind of took it off from there. I mean, I brought him on multi-day backpacking trips out in the woods where he hauled his own gear off leash the entire time for days at a time. The world just kind of opened up to us. The Doberman's natural set of behaviors are truly astonishing. Reading people with eerie accuracy. One day when my first Doberman, Cooper, was still really young, I was taking him out for a drive in my car. And we pulled up to a crosswalk, and there was a large number of people crossing this in a line right in front of our car. And, you know, I just noticed him just sitting there intensely watching every person who crossed in front of us. Not knowing at that time, really, that these dogs, you know, they read energy, not just situations or people, but they seem to read the energy. Then in the middle of maybe like 15 people crossing in front of us was a homeless man. He was kind of disheveled. He was carrying bags over his shoulders, long grown out hair. And honestly, I didn't think anything of it. But Cooper just locked his eyes on that single person in the line of people following him from side to side with his eyes, just letting out, I remember this really low growl from inside the car. And honestly, the first thought through my mind was, this dog stereotypes. I don't know, call it stereotyping, call it reading energy, whatever you want, but it blew my mind how he just locked onto one person in this crowd. He stiffened his body posture, he leaned forward in the car, and just seemingly completely on the defense. It just, I don't know, it felt like human level situational awareness and kind of just the assessment of each person walking in front of our car. Again, all instinctual, all natural to him, and frankly, now that I know this is the only breed of dog ever created for personal protection of humans, it does make complete sense to me now. But at the time, yeah, I was just completely astonished. It's really wild for me to think about how much of what Dobermans do is just pure instinct. But here's the thing though, instincts can only take them so far if you're not properly fueling them. I learned that really the hard way with Cooper. I used to feed him what I thought was premium dog food at the time. And I think as far as kibble goes, it probably was, but there are definitely better options out there besides kibble. I noticed how much Cooper's energy and focus just kind of fluctuated throughout the day. Some days he was just razor sharp and responsive, and other days he was definitely noticeably a little more sluggish. He was a little bit distracted and even definitely anxious. So I actually realized something at the time, that a Doberman's brain and body really are just like a precision engine. And what you put in directly affects how that engine performs. That's why I always tell Doberman owners about Ollie, and they are our sponsor. And we chose them because Ollie makes fresh, human-grade meals for me formulated with veterinary nutritionists to meet your Doberman's exact nutritional needs. Each meal is portioned perfectly for your dog's age, their breed, and activity level, so you're not just feeding them. You really are fueling them and their focus and endurance, and you're fueling their long-term health. You're doing it all correctly, which really makes a big difference. So if you want your dog performing at their best, physically, mentally, and instinctually also definitely, go to DobermanPlanet.com/freshfood. That's a quick link. It'll take you straight to Ollie's website. Or you can click that link right down in the description down below, and definitely use my coupon code as well. It's Doberman Planet, all caps, and it gets you 60% off your first box with them so you can try them. Seriously, try them out. See what your dog is really capable of on a fresh diet. You might be amazed. Close enough to protect, but too close to ignore. You know that saying, dogs are man's best friend? Yeah, Dobermans have heard of that too, and trust me, they take it way too far. And look, before I got my first Doberman, I did my research. I absolutely knew the basics at that time of owning a Doberman before I ever got my first one, and I 100% expected a Velcro dog that, stuck by my side, but I wasn't expecting it at all like this. I remember one day it really started to stand out to me, just trying to make a simple trip to the bathroom. No one was home and I was in a hurry, so I didn't lock the door or anything. I just ran in and I didn't even really latch it. I just closed it and went in. And then all of a sudden, thud, the door opened. Cooper had nudged it open with his nose. Closed the door and he nudged it open. Close it again, nudge it open. He was pretty forceful about it too. Then as he got older, other things started popping up. Like, I don't know, if I tried to make breakfast, he'd start pressing into my legs right next to me. Oh, and definitely if I woke up in the middle of the night for any reason, he just popped right up and he was following me. I remember thinking, does this dog ever fully sleep? Or if I walked onto the other side of a laundry basket or a small box, he'd sit there barking at me and getting noticeably frustrated, just trying to follow me. It was crazy. I'm telling you, I had read the forums. I had talked to other Doberman owners. I expected this Velcro type behavior, but I didn't expect this level. It was to an extreme. Dobermans they have to be next to you at all times. It was really just next level behavior. Lightning fast learning and habit machines. Okay, before I tell you what happened that absolutely blew me away as a new Doberman owner, I need to tell you the only nerdy thing that I'm gonna mention in this video, I promise. Dr. Stanley Coren, PhD, he did a study of dog breeds a while back, and this is his book right here that included a lot of his results. And in that study, he determined that Dobermans can learn new commands in as few as 5 repetitions and repeat known commands with 95% accuracy or better. Now, I'm telling you this because the speed in which my Doberman learned was something I had never experienced before. I'd never had a Doberman before. And I remember the first time this hit me, I thought it'd be fun to teach my new Doberman Cooper how to balance something on his head, right? Sounds pretty fun. So I began teaching him this before every meal. I'd have him sit, stay, I'd position his head just right, and then I carefully place something right on top of his head or his nose. Then he'd have to balance something for a really short time before he gets that release command and he's free to go eat. Well, these dogs are absolute pattern machines, and they form habits faster than any other dog I've ever seen. And he quickly learned that he had to do this little series of things to get his meal. So not only would he sit and stay like I asked him to do all on his own, but he'd position his head in the ideal position every single time. And I'm telling you, this was absolutely less than 5 repetitions practicing this that he had this. It was unbelievable how quick he learned this. All of a sudden, I could just balance anything I wanted to on his head.
Stay. 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 Stay.
Okay, maybe I kind of took advantage of this.
Okay, good dog. Yes, good dog.
Logic processing in real time. Truly, truly, I will never forget the first time I realized that my Doberman wasn't just reacting to my attempts to train him, he was reasoning. And Dobermans do this. Okay, so I decided that I wanted to teach Cooper, my new Doberman, how to bark on command, but I had a little twist on it. I didn't want to just use the word speak or bark or anything like that. I mean, that'd be fun and all, but not very useful. I decided instead to use the word guard, because I felt that it had, frankly, a lot more uses. I mean, how cool would it be if my wife or kids were out with a dog and they were approached by people giving them trouble? And then they said the word guard to their 100-pound Doberman that's with them, and he starts barking like crazy. I don't know, a lot more useful than just a fun trick like speak, and then he starts barking, in my opinion. So I really, at the time, had no idea how to train this command. I just sat down with him and had a bunch of treats in my hand, And he had that hyper, Doberman focus on me, trying to figure out what it was that he needed to do to unlock these treats that were in my hand. And I didn't know what to do, so I just started barking and saying okay, which was kind of his release command. So I was like barking and jumping around and just barking over and over at him, like ruff, ruff. And yeah, I absolutely felt like an idiot doing this. And honestly, Cooper looked at me like I was an idiot, frankly. But eventually, after barking at him a whole bunch and getting excited and jumping around like a moron, he looked at me, and I'm not kidding you at all, he cocked his head a little bit, and he kind of just stared, and he let out the smallest, quietest little bark. And I became so excited. This dog just reasoned his way into figuring out what I wanted by watching me. I gave him the treats. I praised him like crazy. It was awesome. Then the next time I said the word guard and started barking at him again. And then he let out a louder bark. Then eventually a couple barks. And in no time, I had a big Doberman who I could say the word guard to, who would start barking. And I didn't know at all what I was doing. I wasn't training him. I was just trying to demonstrate the action I wanted him to do, and I was astonished that he seemed to actually be able to reason and figure out what I wanted. Now, as a first-time Doberman owner, guys, these moments absolutely astonished me, and they pulled me hard into the Doberman world, especially once I realized that he wasn't unique, that Dobermans do these things. They're an incredible animal, and my first Doberman, Cooper, started this all, and then Arlo continued it on. It quite literally, for me anyway, completely changed my career path. Now I work with Dobermans full time. I train them, I publish our own studies here at Doberman Planet that we do, and the research, and we're interviewing experts, collaborating with Doberman groups and veterinarians. We kind of do it all here. And now Doberman Planet serves a worldwide community of over 500,000 followers all over all of our social media sites, including Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and even our newsletter on our website. An entire resource is built specifically for family Doberman owners. This breed's capabilities not only shocked me, but it just really impacted me so hard that it led me to start all this. This breed is truly one of a kind, and if you get one of these amazing dogs, you're gonna see it too. So please don't forget to follow us right here, and you'll keep learning more about this astonishingly unique breed of dog, the Dobermans. See you guys next week. Take great care of your dogs.